We're theme park families.
Theme park families.
We're theme park families.
Won't you join us now?
We're theme park families.
Thanks for joining us, we aim to please.
If roller coasters got you weak in the knees,
We're theme park families.
if you wanna find the best dessert or
Take a potty break with privacy,
find a coaster that is tame for little ones,
or one to make you scream.
we're theme park families.
Everybody's ready, babies.
Rescuing you all from life's luxuries.
We're theme park families.
We're theme park families.
Press the space bar to get it.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Adam.
And I'm Alex, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Theme Park Families.
Well, Alex, I'm so glad you're with us today because I knew you were really excited about a recent development that happened in Pennsylvania with some giant rodent.
Pakistani Phil.
Yeah, what happened with that guy?
You didn't see the summer, so it means early spring.
Okay, early spring, which now you know it doesn't mean it's immediately spring. Andrew, that's what he thought
Yep.
initially? So early spring. And that means we're getting close to theme parks opening up. Our last week of February that we're in now, it'll be March, and we know Kings Dominion and Carowinds open, and a bunch of other parks are starting to open up. So spring is right around the corner, and it's so exciting. But you guys don't want to rush winter away because you've been doing some winter activities that you love recently. What did you guys do yesterday?
Skiing!
And what do you think?
And I love it.
Andrew, what do you think?
I like it too. I've only gone skiing 2 times, but I've already done like a couple blue trails.
Oh, yeah, and you really want to do the blacks, yeah.
I've done some green trails, and next time I go, I'm going to do some blue trails.
Which is great. You guys picked it up so quickly, and that's awesome because it's an activity that Mom and I used to do before you guys were born, and now that you're old enough, who knows? We talked about maybe even doing season passes next year, so it might not only be just theme parks. We have season passes too. Well, another thing going on with our lives recently is we had an interesting tour as part of the scouts that you guys are in. We had a tour recently at the Southern Tier Custom Fabricators in Elmira, New York, and they make a lot of vents and ductwork for different buildings. And it was kind of an interesting hour-long tour that we had.
2
Closer
hours.
to 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. It was really long.
2.5.
We saw some ducks to a pretty interesting facility that we know a lot about. What did we see? It was the end of our tour, the last 15 minutes, and we saw ducks that were going where? In that final building?
American Dream Water Park.
Very good. Exactly. That huge new facility. We know the theme park is opening up first this summer, and then the following year the water park opens, and they said they've been working with American Dream for about 3 years now, working on these massive giant ductworks, and the owner was very interesting and very familiar with the industry. And we even talked about the fact that he had done some work with Kalahari and the Poconos, and I asked him, well, you didn't do any work with Kalahari in Ohio, right? And he's like, yeah, no, we had nothing to do with that. He knew about that accident that occurred. That might have even been in Andrew's news from back then, where, do you remember, some ductwork fell from the ceiling of Kalahari in Sandusky and almost injured some people, like indirectly hit a few people, and that could have been really bad. And he said it was due to a hanging system where the hooks became corroded. So it was kind of cool to see these ductwork and know they're going to be in a water park that hopefully we get to next year. Interesting how your scout life kind of connected with your theme park life. Well, we're excited to have a guest for you today who has an exciting product that will bring joy to a lot of families out there, whether at home or on the road. But before we get there, let's get some news.
If not riding coasters will give you the blues, it's Andrew's news. The workers at Busch Gardens Tampa recently completed the last bit of track on Tigers, their new coaster for 2019. In addition, the train recently arrived for the new ride, which really pops with bright orange track and black supports. The park also teased about an announcement coming regarding Gwazi, while RMC workers continue their work on the former racing coasters.
All right, so a lot of exciting things coming out of Busch Gardens Tampa. And it's really cool to see the revival of this park. I know both Drew and the Legend at In the Loop have talked about the fact that it's been kind of a sad park in the last couple of years, that a lot of things are closing and they really needed this revival. And with a couple of good coasters opening up in a row, that is very exciting. So a really bright future for that park, and the new coaster looks great. Alex hasn't tried a Skyrocket yet at Lake Compound, so I think we're going to get there with our great friend Brian from Civil Gore, and you'll get to try their Skyrocket coaster, which is called Phobia Fear. So a really fun little coaster.
Where are we going with Brian?
Lake Compounds.
This year?
We're going to do their haunt. You remember they had that giant haunt that takes like 45 minutes? Brian and I talked about that, and we're definitely going to do it, but we're definitely going to get there next year. And hopefully by then, the park has worked out a lot of the issues that they had 2 years ago when we were there.
Westchester County politicians have announced that they want to add a new or used thrill ride to Rye Playland outside of New York City. The park has not received a new attraction since 2008.
Wow. So that's a long time ago, and people who complain about Dorney and Valley Fair and Worlds of Fun, that's a long time to get a new ride now, going on 11 seasons. And it's so weird with Rye Playland. It's in our home state. It's only about 3 hours away from us, and we never talk about it at all. At some point, we've got to get there. All those rides would be new to us, so we've got to get there. But there's a lot of issues going on between a new management company and the government who's trying to look good, but who knows what that ride is going to be. But clearly, it's a park that might be in danger and definitely needs some new love.
Darien Lake, whose confirmation as a Six Flags park was recently confirmed, announced that their new 2019 ride, a skyscraper, will be located at the old Twister location near the antique car ride. This marks the death of another topspin, joining many other like Kings Island Tomb Raider. Hanging time at Dorney Park, Der Twister.
Nice, Der Twister. It's a great name.
At Fiesta, Texas. R.I.P. Tide.
No.
Rip Tide.
Rest in peace, Tide.
Riptide at Knott's Berry Farm, Shake, Rattle, and Roll at Elitch Gardens, Thunderhawk at Worlds of Fun, and Topspin at Myrtle Beach, which all have closed in recent years.
All right, so crazy. We've got to get on one of these before there are none left. The Topspins are certainly an endangered ride. And I've talked about it with you over the last 6-7 months once they announced that Skyscreamer is going to be Darien Lake's new ride, where it's going to go. And so now we know that their Topspin is going to be taken out. And that's something that Mom has ridden before. When we were there that one time for Green Day, she got on that ride, and it had an interesting cycle to it. So she got to experience it, but now we never will. And these are endangered rides. There are a lot of mechanical issues.
Well, they still have one at Great Adventure.
Yep.
They have one at King's Dominion.
Yes. Kind of like at this point, enterprises are really in danger as well. Like we just found out Canada's Wonderland's Enterprise closed, Cedar Point's closed this year. So a lot of those are starting to go away as well, as these are aging rides and parts are getting harder and harder to come by. That parks are just cutting their losses and eliminating them. Canada's Wonderland has that really nice Topspin as well. I don't know what year that went in, but you remember Canada's Wonderland Topspin by Dragonfire? It looks really modern and kind of has the water as well. That one looks like a very different model, so that one should be secure at least for a while. So ride your Topspins before they are completely gone. I met Matt Morgan through Facebook, genuinely good guy who has been listening to the show for a while and has been very supportive of us. And in appreciation of our show, kind of like a Patreon, I guess, even though we're nowhere close to having anything like that, he sent us a swing from his company, GoSwing LLC. Well, we loved it so much that we were excited to do an interview with him. We promoted the product for Coaster Radio's Holiday Gift Guide and feel it really can help theme park families, especially on their trips. So let's take a listen and see what Matt had to say. We're so happy to have Matt Morgan, inventor, CEO, and founder of GoSwing LLC with us. Thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us tonight.
Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time for me. Yeah, I feel honored to be a part of this podcast here.
Well, it's a pleasure. We'll get to the business side in a couple of seconds here, but we connected online through the theme park community initially. So tell us about your theme park history a little bit, just growing up and where you went and how you got part of the theme park community and how it continues now with your own family.
I have, I've been going to theme parks for many, many years. I'm now 41. And I remember going as a young child to Six Flags Over Georgia. That was probably one of my first experiences in the theme park world. I had some wonderful grandparents that took me on many trips to Walt Disney World and Epcot and places like that, and just instantly fell in love with that atmosphere. And so now I've got 2 daughters of my own, 13 and 8, and just love sharing those experiences with them as well.
And so how do they feel about big rides? Are they totally into it, a little hesitant?
Yeah, I'd say my 8-year-old's probably a little braver than my older girl. She still doesn't like the upside-down rides yet, but my oldest doesn't like the upside-down rides. But yeah, they do enjoy the theme parks and are trying to get mommy to let us go anytime we can. So.
Oh, that's great.
What's your favorite coaster overall?
My favorite coaster overall. That's...
Yeah, putting you on the spot.
I should have been prepared for this.
That's an important question.
It is a very important question. I still have a tie-in with the Mindbender at Six Flags Over Georgia. I know it's an older ride, but just the layout and the many rides I've had on that, I'd probably say that is my ultimate favorite ride still. Now, I did enjoy the Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure, but I know I haven't been on that in quite some time. So I'm eager to get back to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure and experience some of those new rides.
So have the girls done the Wizarding World yet? Have you been down there with them?
They have not yet. My oldest daughter has been a big fan of the Harry Potter series, and we are hoping to make it there this season, actually, this year, coming up.
Very cool. That's what we were thinking as well. Possibly this year, although heading there next year, then the new Hagrid coaster will be open. So we were thinking about maybe waiting until next year as well, but that's someplace we can't wait to get. Now, with Disney, is the Galaxy's Edge something that you are looking crazily forward to, or not that big of a wall tugger, really?
I enjoy the Star Wars series. I can't say I've seen the last couple of new movies. I'm looking forward to getting there and experiencing, the newer technology and the new experiences they can provide. But I think I'll definitely wait a few years before let the crowds die down before I get out there.
It's hard to imagine what that first couple of years are going to be like. That's something we were just talking about. It's going to be pretty insane.
Over thousands of people just at that park.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Thinking about the fact that it could literally be a 7-8 hour line, you just don't know for that big attraction. So that's probably a smart move, Matt.
For the first couple of months, there will definitely be times where the park has to shut down because there are too many people.
Yeah, it's going to hit capacity, absolutely.
What kind of design or engineering background do you have?
It's kind of funny. I don't have much of a design or engineering background. I kind of say I'm a big kid at heart. And I just thought of this one day while I was on a trip with my wife in Charleston, South Carolina. And I didn't even have my daughters with me at the time. And we were walking through a beautiful park, and I just saw the many trees that there were with low-lying limbs. And I turned around and I said, it'd be cool if there was a swing you could take with you, like on a picnic, and just hang it up, swing for a little while, and then bring it right back down. And so I thought after that trip, I went home and looked online, and I thought there might be something already out there, but couldn't find anything at all. So that's where I kind of put some ideas down on paper and started kind of tinkering with it. And actually it took about 2 years off and on between my regular job, which I'm a physical therapist, and then 2013 is when I came up with this design that allows you to hang it up easily and then bring it right back down real easily.
So that was well back in 2011 that you had that moment in Charleston. And so GoSwing went available to the public 2013 or 14?
Actually, 2014 is when I first, sold my first swing, correct.
So we've had a wacky winter up here, and we've had some brutally cold, like
sometimes it will rain when there's snow on the ground.
We've had polar vortexes, we've had blizzards, and then we've had numerous days in the 60s. And so it was a beautiful early December day where it was lovely, and we took out our GoSwing into the backyard. The cool thing about this, Melissa, my wife, is the engineer in our family who's really good with directions and putting things together. That's her way of thinking. Where I'm the other side of the brain, and that is not necessarily my skill. But I have to say, setting it up as I did, and it's great, there's a nice YouTube video right on the website showing you how to do it step by step, which is wonderful. What a great idea. And it really took, I'd say, right about that 4 or 5 minute mark. And it was so user friendly, so easy to do. And that was a huge part of it, that it went up so quickly. And then on the reversal, taking it down went so quickly as well. So how much of a focus really during that design process was it to have a product that was truly that easy to install? Is that something that took a lot of thought and design changes throughout?
Right. I knew I wanted to make it very, very user-friendly and easy to hang up, and tried to limit, how many knot ties you have to make during the setup, and was able to get it down to there's really just one simple knot you tie underneath the swing base. And so I was very excited about being able to create a product that was easy to use for dads and moms alike.
And in that way, thinking about it, that it's really just one knot that you have to tie underneath the seat.
Even kids could do it. And
that's what I was going to say, because you have a badge in that, right?
Yeah, I have like a knot tying badge.
For Scouts, as he is a Boy Scout. And you probably know 8, 9 different knots for that, so that's something that absolutely you could have done.
I did do a lot of YouTube searching and looking to see what type of knot I did need to tie to make it the easiest, and found that the bowline knot.
Oh, I know that one.
Yes. See, I should have recruited you. Okay, next time we put it up, you're doing the bowline knot. Yep. You've got that easy. Well, also impressive, before we get to the swing and the experience, was just the entire packaging presentation with the font on the front of the box and the display window through the cardboard, which just really captured the eye really well. And the fact as well that the swing seat is also the holder for all of the equipment and the ring and the rope. It really was smart the way the whole thing was put together. I assume all of that took a lot of thought as well, the packaging and all of it going together into one.
Absolutely, it did. I had a wonderful neighbor that I could bounce some ideas off of, that he actually let me borrow his patent, kind of like a patent for dummies book. And so he kind of helped me get that process rolling. But yeah, once I came up with the idea to make the bag part of the swing, it just clicked. Yeah. And what I love now is just seeing people's reaction when you turn the bag inside out and they see that the swing base is the bottom of the bag there.
It really was a genius thought. There's no extra separate bags that you have to carry,
and that
right?
makes it even more portable, because then, you don't have to carry around this whole big thing of supplies, and you can just carry that around.
Absolutely. Thinking about the fact that this would be great for trips, as I know a lot of the pictures that Matt has posted online are people on trips, including his own family. And when you have a large family and you're packing a big car or minivan, you don't want to have unnecessary bulky stuff with you. So it really is amazing how compact that really is.
Thank you. It's exciting. I've got also a prototype of plastic swing base that will make it much lighter, and it also has LED lights around it. So at nighttime, it lights up really like a UFO. It lights up so brightly and everything. So I think that'll be a big hit once I can get that out on the market.
That is brilliant, because Mike and EB from Coaster Radio, they talk about the fact that they like a lot of the new Gerstlauer coasters that have the lighting packages that follow the cars. So having something like that in a campground at night, swinging so that you can see it, right?
You can swing in the dark and stuff, and that would be cool.
Oh, that's brilliant. Exactly. Love it. That's a great idea.
What are some of the most unique locations that you or someone else has set up a GoSwing?
Let's see. I have used the GoSwing outside of Six Flags Whitewater Park. A lot of times my family, we won't eat inside the park just because we want to save a little bit of money, for souvenirs and things like that. And so we have eaten a lot of times outside, had a picnic outside the park. And one day I did look over, and where we were parked, there was a perfect tree with a limb that extended out. And I actually had my daughters swinging in their bathing suits outside of the park. So I've used it there. I've used it also at Stone Mountain Park here in Atlanta. But then again, just a lot of just random state parks and even ball fields. My oldest daughter is a softball player. And so my youngest daughter, to occupy her time, a lot of times we'll take the swing to the ball field and let her swing while she watches sister play ball.
Definitely two birds with one stone there, as she's able to be entertained and yet still watch her, and she can still watch a lot of the game. That's a smart move right there, as opposed to relying on electronics, as I know a lot of families are guilty of. So that's such a great idea. I know for us, when we post this episode, we'll put it on our social media of our videos when we did it in December, that we had a pretty unique location as well. It was very interesting. In our backyard where we are, we have a mini gorge, and we have a creek and a waterfall, and so we have one tree that's kind of on the edge, and it's not huge. We're not talking about Grand Canyon. It drops down maybe a total of 60 feet, and so we had a nice limb set up, and it would go a little bit over the gorge. And how are you feeling about that location?
It was pretty cool for me. I mean, Alex was a little bit scared, but I liked it. It was fun.
Mom was a little bit nervous as well, but it's a very sturdy tree. It was a great location to try it for our first time. I think I've even seen things about ski slopes that you had a post about someone on a ski slope.
I recently went on a ski trip to Maggie Valley, North Carolina, and just found a tree that would work out great. So I kicked the skis off for a quick second, hung one up. I had kept one in my backpack just in case I found a spot, and hung one up on a tree limb in the snow, and took a few pictures real quickly. Yeah, I was hoping to grab some little kids and see if they wanted to try it out, but yeah, I didn't see any in the area at the time.
Just to show how quickly it is, you said a few minutes, and it literally is, so that is just perfect. Interesting that you just mentioned Whitewater there, a place that we've been to before, a really cool park, and it's actually the location. We have friends who do a podcast called Civil Gore, which is a horror podcast, and the episode that they just did recently had a movie that was out in 2018 about a haunt that was filmed at Whitewater. So thinking about the connection to theme parks and GoSwing, and it's one of the things we talked about with the holiday guide, that one of the instant places I thought of using this when I heard of GoSwing was we've taken multiple trips to Kings Island, Cedar Point, and Holiday World, are just three of the places where we stayed at campgrounds. And in those 3 or 4 hours before the park opens or after, we thought that was a perfect place to use a GoSwing, because campgrounds have so many trees and limbs, and I know a lot of our listeners do those kind of trips as well. So to me, it seemed like a perfect tie-in that way.
Absolutely, yeah. Campers are definitely my niche market, and the ones I have to market to the most. A lot of times I'll tell people to just keep one in their RV or their car, and that way it's always with you. Yeah, I just recently went to the Atlanta Camping and RV show and did a lot of marketing there, and need to follow back up with them. I spoke to about 12 or 13 different companies and need to follow back up with them, but they were very excited about it as well. So hopefully it'll continue to make its way around different campgrounds in the area.
So that's perfect that that's the market. And with the knowledge that a lot of these campgrounds do have their own parks that might have swings, but it's so much more convenient to have it right at your site. To have to lock everything up, cars, campers, everything you put outside, take the whole family, go to the park. It's a lot more hassle than just literally having it right there outside the camper. So I could see that working so well.
Absolutely.
Discussing kids using GoSwing, the packaging and website shows that it isn't only kids that can use the product. What are the limits for who can use the swing?
Really, the ages are limitless, honestly. I've done many festivals, and I've been fortunate enough to have a tree next to my vendor booth, and have had many older ladies jump on the swing and enjoy it. I have several pictures of some senior citizens that have gotten
That's
on
great.
it. Of course, my heart's skipping a little bit, but they definitely, it brings out their smiles just as much as the young kids' smiles that it brings out as well.
And so, which is wonderful. So it can be for any age. There is a weight limit, but it's a weight limit that a lot of adults can fit on. It works out really well.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, the weight limit is 250 pounds, but it actually held more than that. I did have a laboratory test, and it held up to like 1,300 or 1,400 pounds. When designing this and doing the research, I had to think about the limb that you're hanging it from. That's why I limited it to 250 pounds. And I have had people larger than that on it, and it held up well for those activities.
That's great to hear. So potentially a small rhino could actually get on it if there was a strong enough tree.
That's right.
Where can people go to get a GoSwing?
Right now, of course, you can go on the website. We have a website called GoSwing.net, GoSwing.net. You can pick one up there. They are on sale at Amazon. I've got them in some small outfitter stores that are in my area in Georgia, but I'm working my way up towards maybe a Dick's Sporting Goods or an Academy Sports. But yeah, I'm trying to get into larger and bigger markets right now. But right now I'm just in some of the smaller box stores right now. Ace Hardware is another one that
Great.
I have one in Ace Hardware in Oakwood, Georgia.
Oh, great. Okay, so we've got your website and then social media. People can find you where?
Yes, on social media, on Instagram at GoSwing LLC, on Twitter at GoSwing LLC, and then on Facebook at Go_Swing LLC. Are the three ways we are on social media.
Terrific. And even though the holidays are over, like the website states, it makes a terrific birthday gift as well. Or even just a gift for the spring. It's a way to get outside, just one more opportunity for kids and families all together to get outside. If there's not a park local to you, it's a drive away, and you have a nice limb in your yard, it's a great way to get outside.
Picnics.
Yeah, picnics, absolutely. Any of those activities. And it really is an incredible deal. Well, we cannot thank you enough for joining us. We love the product and we look forward to seeing it in other stores. It's great to hear. Dick's is such a big chain in our area, and as it takes off and more people find out about it, I think it's going to bring joy to a lot of families throughout the country and hopefully the world. Hopefully when you're that big and retire from your other job, you'll still remember us here at Theme Park Families.
Oh, I sure will. I appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with me, and thank y'all for putting on a wonderful podcast. A podcast that I love sharing with my family and my girls. You guys are doing some wonderful things. So I definitely look forward to each episode coming up. Y'all keep up the good work as well.
Well, thanks for the kind words. We appreciate it. And if and when we get down to Georgia this year, we'll definitely look forward to meeting the whole family and getting some rides in.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be tremendous.
So it was really great to learn about the family and the company, and we wish the best for GoSwing in the future. We'll see about the new models,
LED
the visuals.
lights that you could change.
Yeah, right? Really cool idea. Alex, what did you think about the product, that swing?
It was cool. It was fun.
Right?
I just got a little scared. Like, I don't want to go too far.
Well,
Maybe get some injuries.
well, was it because of where we set up the swing?
Yeah.
Right, that was a cool location, right? Did you feel like you were over the Grand Canyon?
Not really.
Not really, not to that extent. Okay. And thanks again, Matt. And we really look forward to hopefully meeting him someday in the theme park. So on to our ride of the day. Alex, since you're here with us today, we might as well pick your favorite coaster. Alex, what is today's ride of the day?
Millennium Force!
Millennium Force. Alex, after all these coasters, and you're probably getting pretty close to 200 by now, so we've got to figure that out. What is it about Millennium Force that you love so much?
It's just like the speed, the height. I just love speed.
Exactly. And so since it gets criticized so much, Alex, I think that's perfectly stated. Do you agree with that, Rue?
I mean, sure.
Because that's your nickname.
No, my name's Andrew.
Okay, that's your name. Well, I think that people who criticize Millennium Force because it's forceless and it doesn't have tons of airtime, well, that's not what this coaster is about, right, buddy? It's about speed.
Yeah, some coasters are about speed and turns and the height, and some are about the airtime. Top Throw Dragster, that has no airtime at all.
Great point. Yeah.
And most people like that coaster a lot.
Whereas King Dakar has a little bit, as you'll see in a couple months.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing. Well, you couldn't do it. Yeah, I'm not doing.
All right, Alex. Let's put it officially on the podcast. You're 8 to you by now, so you're officially 52 inches. You're 8. This is the year you're doing Top Thrill Dragster, right, Alex?
Yep, he's doing it.
No, I'm not doing it. Never.
We'll drive you in every which way, but you're doing
right.
it. No.
We'll buy you a theme park. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. It's official. You said yay. That's binding. It's going to be a little toy theme park, a couple of inches long, but you agreed to it.
We're going to make a lot of coasters.
And we could get you like a chocolate. We could get you like a chocolate.
Okay, guys, yell over
water
each other.
slide.
That's the best thing for a theme park. Just keep yelling over each other. Oh my gosh. I mean, really?
Yeah, we could like get you like a chocolate fudge ice cream or something,
Yeah.
banana split, something like that.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. But back to
The
Millennium
world's biggest
Force.
ice cream.
You've had night rides on Millennium Force, right?
Oh, I love Night Rides on Millennium Force.
As long as you don't get bugs in your teeth and all that.
Well,
but
okay, so
Oh, yeah.
the only time that
okay, they're gonna talk over each other. I mean, they just,
the only time that ever happened to us was at Maverick, and we were in the front row, and
Yes.
it was nighttime, and we just kept getting pelted with bugs in the face.
It hurt.
maybe goggles. Next time, I think we should bring goggles, and that's not even a
Yeah,
joke.
but we still have faces and bodies.
Wait, you have a face and a body. Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not worried about the body. I'm worried about the eyes.
Goggles only protect your
Well, we were
eyes.
closing our eyes. So.
That's a smart move.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's fun to be able to see where you're going on a coaster. But yeah,
No,
those night rides.
It's actually whatever. It's
Maverick
funnier when
is
you
so
can't
close
see
to
what
my
you're
favorite
That makes it more
coaster.
exciting.
It's like
Yep.
this close, like it's like an inch away from my favorite coaster.
Oh, so close. The night rides we said are great because of the energy partially in that station where everyone's excited and chanting and clapping, right? They're so excited. Yeah, just like that, buddy. That is an excellent display of clapping.
And then you have like that.
Millennium Bus.
That's what it's like. Exactly.
And then you have the music that plays in the station.
Just like that. Alex is displaying it.
Tip of the day, tip of the day. It's the tip of the day. Tip of the day, tip of the day. It's the tip of the day. Yeah.
And for our tip of the day for today. Oh, wait, before we get to there, one of my favorite parts of Millennium Force is that Station Little Hill. I love that little part.
He's obsessed with it.
That's my favorite part. I think it's so
not
great. It's such a
close to
sweet
the
little
best
hill.
part.
I love it. Well, the first drop is great. The views are terrific. It's all fun.
And the weird thing
Turns
is that I feel like I get more airtime on the littler hill than the bigger hill. Like off when you get the drop, you do that turn and
Yep.
then you go on the big hill.
Exactly.
You do that figure eight and then go to the little hill. The little hill, I feel like you get more airtime than the big
I
hill.
think it's a great point. I agree because it's just the
you
way
get
it's
more-
shaped.
You got more of a pop.
Right.
Like, whereas on the big hill, it's more you're going slow over the hill.
It's
You
so
have, like,
big,
more
right?
speed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that is a great point. And even just that final turn that goes into the brake run is a cute little turn as you're almost sideways.
Yeah,
I love,
it's like the
love all of
first
it.
turn, like when you go up, it's kind of like that, but a baby version.
Baby version,
Like
yeah.
it had a baby.
Yeah. Which a Millennium Force baby would be adorable.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so an excellent choice for our ride of the week. You guys even had your Millennium Force shirts that Mom personalized for you guys with like the stats on the back and all that.
Well, mine was a little wrong.
One little number, yeah. So, but otherwise, it was very well done.
instead of 90.
Well, for the tip of the day, because we had Alex on, Alex inspired this week's tip of the day, and it is to simply smile like Alex. Alex is a little dude who just loves being at the park. No matter how many hours we're there, he's just smiling and happy the whole time. He never complains, never whines, even if it's a long line. And I think it is a great example for what we all should be like. And a lot of us are guilty of complaining about, lines or ride ops or this food or any little thing, the heat that might annoy us. But Alex, he is a one dude to always enjoy things. And what is your mindset? What are you thinking when you're in a park, Alex? That's what
I
you're
don't
thinking?
really think, like, if I want to ride this ride or I want to ride that ride. Before I'm doing it, I'm sometimes, like, I don't really want to do it, but when I get on it, it's, like, my favorite.
Isn't it funny how that happens when you're nervous about something and then you love it?
Squash.
Like Top Thrill Dragster,
Squash.
Alex?
Swashbuckler, never. It's not going to be tough as that.
Because the same thing will happen? Right. Swashbuckler, A Great Adventure. They're
And
Roundup.
you did it, and his face on the camera was like,
But then he loved it. And so will you.
how do you know I loved it? He did it. That's
So, Alex, thanks for joining us on this short little episode of Theme Park Families. And it's exciting as we lead into next week because we have an exciting event coming up next week. On Wednesday at 6 o'clock, I will be joining Clint Novak as we'll be helping him with his fundraiser for Coasting for Kids and Give Kids the World as we're trying to raise money and he has certain goals. Now, this is a tough act to follow. Week 1 on this show, who did he have? You remember?
No.
A guy you might have heard of before. A recent father, a podcaster who's been in the business for
13.
13 years. So, who's that?
Michael Collins.
Mitchell Collins, you called him. You know him so well that you just called him Mitchell Collins. Kind of like Civil War.
Silver bar.
No, it's silver gold.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said last week. So, all right, Mitchell Collins, he had the first week. And then last week, you remember?
Nope.
He had one Taylor Bybee from Coaster Studios.
And Reese's.
And Reese's Pieces. Atkins,
Squeezes.
also from In the Loop. Talk about a tough act to follow. Those are mega superstars. And our goal is to try to help Clint raise more than both of those two. So definitely check us out. Hopefully we can provide some entertainment. That will be on Clint Novak's Facebook feed. So just look him up and you can find us there. And hopefully that'll be a fun night. It'll be at least an hour. And who knows what wacky things that we're going to do. And who knows if Andrew is even going to be on it. But if he is, he might do something very entertaining to help inspire.
Doing that.
Maddie likes to swing.
It's a great way to have fun.
She could stay like that for hours.
I should can. Maddie done. Bye-bye.